Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tom. Sawadee Cup. Another day. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday the 17th. Thai baht is 32.75 to the dollar. It's currently 86 degrees, high of 91, low of 78 today. The feel like temperature right now is 96 degrees. It's already really, really hot. The humidity is 71%. Air quality is 29, which is pretty good. And there's a 40% chance of rain. Wind is 8 miles an hour, south-southwest, 8 miles an hour. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about today, but I do have one thing to talk about, and that is while I was looking around yesterday, I found something about kayaking, and I started looking at the person's page, and basically it's, I don't know if it's a Brit or a German guy, and then a girl who's Dutch, and she is the one who handles the blogging on the website, and I think she's 25, 30 years old, something like that. But she was talking about her complaints, or she was writing about her complaints about Chiang Mai. And I just thought it was, I don't even know how to put it, because I don't want to really, it's her feelings. She's allowed to feel how she wants about a place. And some of it, she's got some valid points. But some of it is, when you come to another country, really you have to keep an open mind and not be, try to be so judgmental. And I'm not saying I'm perfect and have never done this, that I have always been without judgment or whatever. But one of the first things I learned when I started traveling was keep an open mind. And here in Thailand, I always say it to you guys. I always say, learn the phrase "Mipe and Rye," and learn to appreciate it and learn to use it in situations where you're dealing with Thais. And it didn't seem like she, she's a tourist, really. But it sure didn't seem like she had an open mind to me. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before I go on, if you like the stream, if you like the channel, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Go down in the description. You can find everything down there that you might want to know, or you might need to know if you want to get a hold of me, whatever. But I'd like to wait a few minutes and let a few more people come in before I start streaming. And I'm gonna assume that the video and the audio is just fine unless somebody says something. What is this here? What's this question? You live in a coffee house, Scott? Yeah, I live in one for about 2 hours a day. Hour a day sometimes, sometimes not. So, I like coffee. What do you want me to say? Well, what's your point? Scott, let me hold $1. Can I hold $1? Let me hold $1. Listen, I've had guys come up to me. I've had guys come up to me in the United States. I got into a fight once, a long time ago, in Pomona, California, where I was living at the time, because this guy came up to me. Now, I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. This guy comes up, hey, man, let me hold $1. I go, come on, man, I ain't giving you shit, And then he starts with, oh, I don't have any gas in my car, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. and I'm trying to get home, and I was like, all right, let me see what I can do for you, man. So I gave him a couple of bucks, like $3, $5, something like that, right? And I go inside, and I see the guy outside doing the same thing. And then I see him go and buy some booze. And so I go, hey man, right or wrong, I go, hey man, give me my money back. Let me hold my dollars. Let me hold my $3 or whatever it was, $5. Let me hold my money. He said, no, man, I gotta get home. I said, yeah, but you're buying beer. I'm like, why don't you put it in for gas if you're telling me the truth? Oh man, and he was messing with me. So I cracked him and took the money out of his hand. And I was like, that's what you get for being a fucking scammer. If the guy was legit, I would have said, okay. I was like 20 years old. It wasn't the brightest thing to do. But I did it, That was a long time ago, so. Pomona was not a nice place back then. I don't know how it is now. It wasn't the greatest place, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest place. That's what I'll say. Yeah, that's where I lived for a while. And I saw people get stabbed. I saw people get robbed. I saw somebody who I knew very well. She had just cashed her check. She had a check and she was getting it cashed. It was like, she was getting her check cashed. And she was getting her check cashed at one of these check cashing places. It was a ghetto back then, man. And so the guy robbed her, and she's screaming, because I knew this girl. She needed her money. She had like a little girl, and so I ran. I was in a lot better shape, and back then, like I said, I was around 20 when I was living there. I lived there for about 2 years, and I was living with some chick, and so I ran after the guy, and the guy went into an apartment complex. And there was 2 doors. There was the outer door and there was the inner door. The inner door was locked. So he goes in, he gets through the outer door, and then what he did was he wanted to get back out. So I just held the outer door outer door shut. But finally he kicked it, and he was able to get out, and he had a knife. He tried stabbing me. I'm laughing about it now, but he tried stabbing me, and I hit him. And I kicked him. I kicked him a couple times. Grabbed the money out of his pocket. And went back, and that girl loved me. Saved her ass. Because she needed the money, like to support her kids and stuff like that. And so, that was a pretty nasty neighborhood. I'm glad I got out of there, man. Because, I went there, there was this chick, and I met her, and, next thing you know, oh, baby, you're so wonderful. That's what happens, when you move too quick. There is something to be said for moving slowly. So I got out of that one. And, yeah, it was not a nice place, especially in the evening. The other place I lived that wasn't too nice was not Redlands. Redlands was nice. Had a nice apartment in Redlands. I lived in what the hell was it? Was it San Bernardino or was it Riverside? I think it was Riverside, and man, it was nasty. That was the kind of place where if you went out at night, you better not be carrying any money. Or anything valuable, because somebody would try to take it from you. But anyway, it's one thing I like about Thailand. For the most part, you don't have to worry. It's safe. Tom, I'm just wondering, you got any plans on coming over here in the near future, or have you postponed it, or what's the deal? Hell, most of Southern California is a ghetto. Well, I mean, Pomona was a ghetto. It was a straight up ghetto. You know, and I was like, well, it was cheap. The apartment was cheap, and I was splitting it with this chick, so it was extra cheap. You know, it was all right. Tom, how you doing? Thank you, Choke D. All right, January 7th. Well, you'll be almost in time for when the bars open up and then they start drinking again, like legally in some places. Not that, you know, that may not matter to you, but I mean, it sure is nice to be able to have a beer if you want one. You know, the other day I went and had a beer in the pub or restaurant, whatever you want to call it. It was legit. I mean, you know, they were allowed to serve. And had a Guinness, and it was damn good. And, you know, it's not that I need to drink a whole lot of beer, but man, it's nice when you want one. This is the thing, and this is the big problem that I have with the way that they view alcohol. It's that they are your daddy. That's how they think. I'm your daddy. You do what we tell you. And if you don't like it, too bad, because this is the way it is. And so, you know, I cannot tell you how many times, and I've bitched about this before, I cannot tell you how many times that I've been in the grocery and I've been like, oh, I like to get a couple of beers. Or, oh, I want to get a bottle of wine. And I look at my watch and it's like 5 minutes after 2 or a minute after 2. And I'm like, well, that's not possible. I'm going to have to wait until 5 o'clock. Now, for me to go back home, sit for 3 hours, then come back out, I don't like doing that. I don't want to have to go home, come back. I'm like, what the hell are they thinking? How much are they really helping? That really bothers me. And them closing everything down like this, they're so, you know, in my opinion, without going overboard, because I really want to watch myself today because I'm not in a good mood. It has to do with my dog, our dog, the family dog. But when I see what the government is doing in these kind of things, I'm like, you know, come on. What do you think, you're that much more intelligent than us? You're the ones who they don't have any problems with alcohol. The people in the government, none of them have problems with alcohol. None of them are going to whorehouses or anything like that, going to bars. Of course they are. You know. What barista today? Today, Gennaro, we have mook and we have beer. And yeah, that's it. That's all I see today. Let me see. Yeah, you know, I'm sitting in this chair because I didn't really plan on streaming. You know, a lot of times I don't plan on it, but especially today I didn't really plan on it. And then, you know, our dog is in bad shape, and it was pretty painful to look at him and see him like that. And so I just thought, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. You know, Nicholas is sitting with him, and let's just say he doesn't have very much longer. And I hope it comes sooner than later, because he doesn't seem like he's suffering. I don't want him to suffer, but it's really, it's been hard. It's been hard on all of us, but you know. He's a good little dog, you know. Cambodia. Yeah, Cambodia. I've been there more than 50 times. It's been a couple years since I've been there now, but I used to go all the time. I used to go at least twice a year, sometimes 4 or 5 times a year. It's open. You want to go? You got to be vaccinated. Oh yeah, put them down, bro. And you live in Thailand? Do you live in Thailand? Please. What's your name? Duke Nukem? Really? I've already gone over this about putting the dog down. If you've got a, if you're moving over here and you want to bring your dog over here, I would really think about it. Yeah, I would think long and hard about it. And I know some people that, you know, they're back in the States. They have some dogs. They want to move over here. They're considering it. They don't know what to do with dog. Longhorns has thought about it, and not as easy as you think. Nowhere near as easy as you think. If the dog is not suffering, they won't put him down. Doesn't mean, you know, like, yeah. Which, you know, that's one thing I have a problem with, but, which is, you know, there are plenty, like I've said many times, there are plenty of things. This is what I say. You guys, there are guys that have come over here. Jono's been here, what, 2-3 years now? He knows the reality of this place. Billy, he's been over here many times. He knows the reality of the place. Soy Dog Cowboy. Tom even could, you know, Tom is married to a Thai. People who come here all the time, they know the reality of this place. There is no such thing as some, you know, perfect destination. There's always going to be problems with it, you know. And this place is not perfect. Doesn't mean I hate it. But there are certain aspects of it that I don't like, and certain aspects of it, like this, like when it comes to our dog, that I really, really don't like. But, you know, you can go anywhere. I mean, you know, just the other day I was talking about the people who were in Ecuador and they got robbed. Like two people in a space of a week contact me telling me about how, you know, someone was robbed in Ecuador, some foreigner was robbed in Ecuador. And my response is, well, people get robbed all over the world. They even get robbed here. They get robbed in Cambodia. In fact, I knew the guy who used to run Sharky Bar. He was the owner at one point, Dave. I always wonder how he's doing, but he's always doing real well. I don't know where he is or anything, but, you know, he and I used to talk all the time, and he had a guy working for him. And it's funny because yesterday I was talking about, you know, is $1,000 a month enough? And in Cambodia, back in the day, it was barely enough. But this young guy that was like, you know, assistant manager, whatever he was, he's getting paid $1,000 a month. He had a place that was like $300 a month. And even though there was security, guys waited. They came out with guns, and they told the security guard, if you move, we're going to shoot you. And they went in and robbed the guy. He took everything he had. And, you know, he didn't have all that much, but, you know, it's all relative. If all you got is a TV and a sofa and some cash, you know, you got $500 of cash in your house, and they take it all, you still end up with nothing. They're taking everything you got. It's still a lot. So, you know, it happens all over the place. So there is no utopia. There is no perfect place. And if you're going to bring a dog over here, you damn sure better consider what that means. What's the matter, Crypto Chaos? Do you live in Thailand or not? Are you going to answer me, or are you just going to skirt the question? I mean, here I am. I'll answer your question, but, like, you don't want to answer me. You know so much. You sound like somebody else I know. Nashville, here I come. Well, I just saw some show the other day. Where's Dolly Parton at? Is she in Tennessee? I think Carlos is from Mississippi. And, I've been through all those places when I was younger, but would I go live there now? Probably not. It's all relative too. Like if you don't have a choice, you're gonna live wherever you gotta live. But, I think Dolly Parton is in Tennessee. Where's Dolly, what is it, Dollywood? Yeah, Dollywood. Where's Dollywood? Tennessee? Would make sense. I saw something with her and the guy from AC/DC, the singer from AC/DC, where he did an interview of her, which was pretty cool. And she's like, her husband, who's like, he's got to be like 75, 80 years old. He's always in the house cranking up Back in Black and Highway to Hell, which is pretty good. Anyway, so this Dutch girl, I think her name is Iris. And, I'm not trying to slam her or anything like that. I'm just trying to bring it about that, listen, there are people out there that do not like Thailand, or they're not, oh, shit. My wife just sent me a message that our dog just died. Hang on one second, all right? Well, you try to prepare yourself, but just like 2 months ago, I still remember he used to bark all the time, and like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I used to yell at Modi, shut up, because I don't want the neighbors to get upset. And he was a little bit neurotic, because anytime that a motorcycle would go by, if he was out in the front, he would bark, or he would spin around or do something like that. And he was just a really sweet dog. Somebody must have had him right before we got him for a couple of months, and I don't think they were very nice to him, because he was very timid. And we got that out of him a little bit, to where he was more trusting, and he wasn't so timid, but with us at least. But actually, I'm glad that he's gone, because now he's not gonna suffer. But yeah, I'm surprised how I really tried to prepare myself for it, and we all knew And I wasn't going to say anything, but this morning when we woke up, you know, Nicholas has been sleeping downstairs with him, but apparently he walked off from Nicholas, and you know, he was right by the sofa, and Nicholas was right there with him, and then he kind of walked away, and I came downstairs and there was stuff all over the floor, and I thought, oh, maybe he threw up, or maybe he, you know, he went to the bathroom. And so, you know, I woke Nicholas up. My wife got up, and, you know, we had to clean it up and everything, and then we put him in he's got a crate. He's always had a crate, which he likes, and he goes into. So instead, you know, we didn't want to, and he couldn't move. And so we bought the crate inside and took the top off of it and laid him down in there on this mattress, this little mattress. And, you know, I knew that he didn't have much longer, you know. But, you know, I guess that's life, you know. But he was a good little dog, man. He was just, all I can say is that dog was probably the sweetest dog. Him and our other dog, Lala. And the thing with Lala is that we knew Lala was getting old, and then one day my wife went outside and just said Lala died. That was it. But with Odie, it's been a week, and a couple of months ago he was moving around. He was all right, and you know, he had a little something with his eyes, and you know, we just cleaned it out and we got some drops for him from the vet, and then like 10 days ago, I tell my wife, I go, man, Odie's looking old. I'm like, he's not the same, you know. And then like 2 days later, he's you know, he wasn't eating, and so 2 days later he threw up. And so I said, we need to take this dog to the vet right now. We kept him at the vet for like 4 days, you know. And me and my wife were like, listen, if he gets better, then, you know, whatever it costs, we'll just put on a credit card or whatever, you know. But the doctor goes, he's not getting better, you know. You might want to think about bringing him home. So anyway, shout out to Odie. What does this say on her shirt? It says, I am bad. Gennaro, you will like this. It says, I am bad, I am beautiful on Beer's shirt. So now I think my wife and my son are going to take him to the temple. And that's what they do here, I guess. I know of some people. I don't know them personally, but I know that some, like Thais, they have no, I don't know why they do it, but like they just throw the dog in the garbage, or you know, we were able to bury Lala in our backyard, but Odie's a bit bigger, and we don't really have the room. So anyway, it's for the best. It's for the best, you know. It was really tough sitting there watching him, you know, because he just in fact, he couldn't even lift his head up. This morning, I was like, this dog doesn't have much longer. And, you know, I told Nicholas, you better just sit here with him. Yeah, he deserves at least that. I mean, you know, when we buried Odie, we gave Odie a little service. We all said something for him, you know, for her. You know, we said a few words for her. I mean, you know, part of our family, you know. And believe it or not, you know, in some places people don't think much of family, but here in Thailand, family means a lot, and my family means a lot to me. And we're a lot closer than you guys might think. Um, or in some families, I'm sure. You know, we're very close, and you know, one thing that Odie used to do is when it was gonna rain, he knew when it was going to rain. So what he would do is he'd start scratching at the front door, and and then, you know, at first we were like, stop doing that. You know, you know, you're safe out here. There's no problem. He was an outdoor dog. He lived outdoors all his life. But then after a while, I was like, you know what? Let him come inside. He's fine. You know, we just made sure he didn't have any ticks or fleas and stuff like that. And he was clean. And we just let him in. Every time it would start raining, he'd scratch on the door. It wouldn't even rain. It would be getting ready to rain. And, yeah, we would just... let him in. Sit with us, you know, while we watch TV or whatever, you know. Because when he was younger, he's a bit of a spaz, so we didn't want to let him in because he'd go running all over the place, you know, kind of like Sid. You know, Sid, he's still, I mean, sometimes we'll hear all this noise upstairs, and it's Sid jumping from the floor to like the bed, and then jumping over on a dresser, and then jumping up on this big dresser, and then jumping down on the floor, and then hauling ass as fast as he can around the house, you know. So yeah. Hang on 1 second, all right? Yeah, I mean, you know, Odie was Nicholas's dog, but he knew that I was, you know, the head of the family. So he knew in his mind, that dog was so sweet, and, you know, that was not an alpha dog or anything like that. But he knew, you know, like if I said, Odie, you got to get out. And I would just say to him, Odie, out. And he'd just go out, you know. Now, if Nicholas said it, he might fight with Nicholas a little bit. Not like bite him or anything like that. He was never do anything like that. He wasn't vicious at all. But he would like look at him and kind of like skid away. All right, yeah, they're going to take him to the temple. So hang on a second again. I'm sorry. I'll probably meet my wife and kid over at the temple. I don't know. It's only right. Anyway, listen, I just want to get through this real quick because I got to make this a short stream. Kind of feels inappropriate, really, but you know, the bottom line is, don't come over here thinking that this place is a fantasy land, because believe me, I would have liked to put Odie to sleep 3-4 days ago. And it's, you know, in most cases it's not possible. In some cases it is, but it's not easy to find a vet that's willing to do that. They just don't believe in it. It's different here, you know. Anyway, this Dutch girl, some of the things she was complaining about was beer was too expensive. Now, if you're in the right place in Chiang Mai, beer is not all that expensive. So I don't know why she was complaining about that. She complained about stagnant water outside of her apartment in the flower pots, which, what are you gonna do? We're not talking about the canals, which are a shithole here. I mean, the canals here, most of them are just, they're nasty. Unfortunately, many waterways, rivers, whatever they are, rivers, canals, streams all over the world now are polluted, which that sucks, but especially here. I don't know how she expected to get around that. She was bitching about the old foreign men, or excuse me, she was making a comment about the old foreign men who basically had nothing to say, nothing worthwhile to say to her and her boyfriend. And then every once in a while you would see some old guy with a young girl. And I'm like, honey, I just feel like telling the girl, you're in Thailand. You're not in Holland. And you know what? If you go to Holland, and I mean, I've been in the Netherlands many times. You go to the Netherlands, and you're an old guy with a young girl, believe me, people might be saying things, but if they're saying things, so what? So what? Fuck them. If you're the kind of person who, I mean, you know, I'm talking about if you got a good thing going with your girl. I'm not talking about you're running around with some little, you're 80 years old and you got some little 18-year-old teeny bopper. Although even that, if they don't like it, that's their problem. You do whatever is right for you. But I'm talking about in most circumstances, it's not that extreme. And yet that still is a problem. I didn't have that problem when I went to the United States. Nobody said that about me and my wife. And if they did, I would have said, you know, hey, shut the fuck up, you know. So, like her making a comment about it shows, and she's a feminist, which I don't even want to go there. You know, don't be a feminist if you're not willing to be treated, truly be treated equal to a man in all ways. That's what I got to say. She complained about the Louis Vuitton, about how even though they didn't use styrofoam anymore, that the rivers were still polluted. And to this, I will say, yes, it's true. And you know, it's their country; they can do what they want, and you can make a comment about it. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, what's the point? Oh, why are you doing that? You shouldn't do that. It pollutes the... Like, they give a fuck. I mean, really. Now, she also complained that it wasn't really networking what she found in Chiang Mai. She said that when she met a bunch of girls, that the girls were always complaining about the men. Which, what's new? You know, I want to tell her, what's new? I wouldn't call it, you know, listen, I'm not going to even get into her looks, but, and then she said, a flight from Bangkok to Mandalay is quite expensive. No, it's not. An expense is relative. But from, I don't know if I think she said Bangkok to Mandalay. But I went from Bangkok to Mandalay. It ain't all that expensive. You can get a one-way flight there for, I mean, I think I paid no more than 5,000 baht round trip. That's like 148 bucks. If you ain't got 148 bucks for an airplane ticket to fly internationally, then don't fly. Walk. I mean, Jesus Christ. I saw that and I'm just like, then she's complaining about the yoga, the schedule, the yoga schedule isn't all that good. Fucking. Then she's complaining about the shitty sidewalks. All right, I know we got shitty sidewalks here. You know. But then what the fuck are you here for? But she did say Chiang Mai wasn't all that I thought it would be. I don't get it. I don't see why people like it so much. It ain't my favorite place either, the city. But you go out and you go, you know, out into the wilderness a little bit, and it's a pretty good place. And the same goes with, say, Hua Hin. I mean, you know, I like Hua Hin, but it ain't my favorite place. But if you go out into the wilderness, you go out into the national parks, there's a lot of beautiful places, and you don't see any of the stuff you see in the city. So, I mean, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I almost commented on her page, and I just thought, what's the fucking point? What's the point? What does it matter? It doesn't matter really what I think, but it just goes to show you there are people out there that really do not. And she happened to be a woman. I always get the impression that, like, feminists, when a guy comes here and they end up with a woman, they think, oh, it's because you can't get any women back home. And it's like, wait a minute, you're a fat pig. You're lucky to have anybody want to put their thing anywhere near you, much less in you. And you're talking about some guy who maybe he didn't have women flocking at his feet, but he had a girlfriend now and then. He went out on dates, and so they're full of shit. When I see this kind of stuff, I just go, oh, come on, honey. I wanted to tell her, listen, you're right about a few things, but I think some of it, you need to change your attitude. You need to change your ways. When you come here, just remember one thing. This ain't your country. And, I stand up for Thais, and I will criticize when necessary. But, like, for the most part, if you come here and all you do is complain about everything, then what the fuck are you here for? Listen, their government isn't to my liking. The dual pricing isn't to my liking. All right, they don't really consider things like the environment, although they are now because they know what it means to them. And then the whole thing with Buddhism and euthanizing pets, that really rubs me the wrong way, especially when you are there, watching what's going on. Yeah. Hang on a second again, I'm sorry. Anyway. Western women way too entitled. Well, I guess, sometimes I get in this mood like, I don't have enough. How am I going to do this? What's the deal? How come this idiot is, like, I'm not going to get into celebrities who I think are idiots. I think some of you guys know who I think are idiots and who are not, but some of them, and they are filthy, filthy rich, and I don't think they got any talent. But you know what? It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the masses think that generate the revenue for them. And sometimes I want to go, hey, be, and I know this might sound wrong, but just be grateful that if you got a roof over the head and you got food and you got a family that cares about you, then be grateful for that. And sometimes you just have to go, hey, I'm lucky to have that. Because a lot of people who are filthy rich may not have a family, may not have anybody around them that give a shit about them, and they're miserable. And it's not everybody, of course, but, and there can be people who, they got all these things and they're still miserable, So, I don't know what I wanted to say, but it's November 17th. I should feel good because he's not suffering anymore, I have to remember that. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, and I catch myself sometimes where I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't I get this? When am I going to get that? Or how long is it going to take? Am I ever going to get this? And, I get pissed off sometimes. I get pissed at myself. But most of the time, after a day or a good night's sleep, I go, all right, put it in perspective. It ain't that bad. Listen, I'm not starving, clearly. And there are far more things in the world that people could be complaining about. Just the simple fact that you get to come to Thailand. I do understand the Thais' way of thinking in one fashion, which is if you're here, you got enough money to come here. And that says a lot, because there are Thais here who will never ever in their life be able to go anywhere. They're going to be in their same village that they grew up in. If they're lucky, they'll go to Bangkok a couple times in their life, and that's it. So if you're here from another country, hey, listen, I mean, I've been to some countries that were not my particular favorite. Nicaragua was not one of my favorites. It wasn't all that bad though, and the people were decent to me. So I was like, okay, you know what? I've been to Nicaragua. Doesn't seem like the vibe fits with me. And one thing that this girl said, is that she thought that Medellin, and she did have some prices and everything, a comparison of prices. She thought that Medellin is cheaper than Chiang Mai. Now, I've been to Medellin, and I don't know how she was. Now, I don't know how she was living when she was there. I thought that Chiang Mai was a little bit cheaper than there, but I guess it depends on how you want to spend your money. And I think she spent how much? Fuck, I don't remember. I can't remember. I was gonna bring my laptop, but I just didn't feel like doing it. Didn't feel like lugging around a bunch of stuff. It is not an expensive place. Well, one of the things that she said that I do agree with was she said that Thailand, she hears about how cheap Thailand is, and she goes, it ain't that cheap. I heard it was so cheap. It's not that cheap. And I'm like, to me, she sounds like somebody who, when you're younger, maybe you're willing to get by on less. So when you can get a 35 baht coffee, why would you come to Starbucks? And I understand that as well sometimes. I go, what the hell am I buying this for? But you can't base everything on that, So, yeah. Anyway, it's a little bit hard for me to think. Body and mind, look after both. Hopefully everything else will fall in place. Give respects, make the journey easier. Yeah. That the same. You can think about how. I mean, I'm like going. This chick. She said she's been traveling around for like 8 years now, and so that says something. She's been traveling around for 8 years. And I think her YouTube channel has like 400 subscribers. So she ain't making money from YouTube. So she's fortunate in that sense to be able to travel. So if you're going to go to a place like Chiang Mai and then you go, oh, I don't really like it. Okay, I understand. She doesn't like it. So then don't go back. Or go back with a different perspective, with a different frame of mind. I can't think of too many places I really did not like. Nicaragua wasn't one of my favorites. Panama, the only reason I liked Panama was because I saw, was it in Panama or Nicaragua? I think it was in Nicaragua. I saw Roberto Duran, and that was kind of cool. So. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where else I've been that I don't really like. you know, I like just about everywhere. I can always find something that I like about a place. And, you know, I can always find things that I don't like. So, and you know, the one thing, again, and I hate to put it this way, yeah. Well, she fell in love with this guy that she met like in one day or something. I don't know. I don't know what the whole deal is. Anyway, you know, whatever. To each his own. However she wants to live her life, great. It was just to put things in perspective, where there are people out there who definitely. I know a few people that have come over here and they're, Thailand's not really. It's too dirty. I don't understand anything, and most of the time, what it is they just don't have that. They don't have that little adventure gene where they're like, okay, I don't care if they speak English. You know, it doesn't matter. We're gonna. We're gonna make things work. Bangladesh the people were extremely friendly, and I actually ended up liking it. I went in and I was like, I hope I like this place. And I mean, I went through the slum there, this one slum, I don't remember the name of it, went through it there. People were fantastic. And you know, I always wonder going in, am I going to have any problems? Are people going to get difficult? Or what's going to... Nepal, the same thing. Nepal was one of the most fantastic places I've ever been in my life. I really liked it there. And I actually thought to myself, if I was a single guy, and I didn't really care about women or anything like that, and I was older, I wouldn't mind living in Nepal. Because there's a lot of cool things there. And I like the way that, you know, I like the vibe. It's all about the vibe, you know. Well, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, I've traveled in, I went from Bangkok to Singapore, third class the whole way, to see how cheap I could do it. I've done it a couple of times. The time that, you know, I had a little accident as I was going into the toilet in Kanchanaburi, I did that on the cheap. I purposely did it on the cheap. And the same thing with that train trip. I did it on the cheap. And then there's been times when I've been lucky and I've been in 5-star hotels, you know. I mean, so, yeah. Anyway, I could go on and on. I need to find out about Odie and where he's going right now, what they're going to do with him, and figuring out, you know, should I just go over there from here? Do I need to go home? What am I going to do? But maybe the next time or the time after, I'll hey Monash, how you doing? I gotta put up a couple pictures I have. I have some nice pictures of him and Nicholas. Nicholas loved Odie so much. You know, he's had him since we got him when he was pretty young, maybe like 6 months old, but he was already a little neurotic. And Nicholas has just been there for him always. I mean, you know. So he's the one, you know, come on, man. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. I gotta go, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. All right, choke D, all that good stuff. What is this? LOL, don't think so, Duke Nukem. What are you talking about with Duke Nukem? All right, Tom, you take it easy. At Duke Nukem. What's that mean? Why are you bringing him up when you've never been in this? You've never ever been in the chat before. Never left a comment. Never done anything. So I'm gonna say you're probably Duke Nukem. The same douchebag known as Duke Nukem. I don't know. Maybe you're not. But you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. Fuck off. I have no patience for this shit. All right? Oh, is he? Well, yeah, I'll have to figure that. I can take care of that. There's a way to take care of that very easily. So, no, you know that guy, JRD. I'll see what I can do. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it right now. No, I can't. Duke Nukem's still in the chat. Well, he won't be the next time. I'll make sure of that. I will make sure of it. But I'll see what I can do about getting the world citizen guy out of there. But, you know, I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I'm not coming here saying stupid shit. I don't think he was saying stupid shit, but people who, okay, I got it. But people like Duke Nukem, I don't want him in my life. I don't want him in my chat. I don't want him anywhere around me. They can get the fuck out of here. Simple, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. I'll work it out with World Citizen, and I'll work it out with Duke Nukem. Easy.